You ever notice how silence isn't just the absence of noise? Sometimes, it's the loudest damn thing in the world. That's what hit me the day I hauled my life along with the last of my dignity up to the wild side of the Colorado mountains. I wasn't searching for peace and quiet. Nah, I was running from the kind of chaos that sinks into your bones. Divorce, burnout, therapy emails I never opened. My soul felt like a room someone had moved out of in the middle of the night. Left nothing but shadows. But here's the thing about running away: sometimes you stumble right into yourself. The old cabin I found wasn't much. Just a crooked skeleton of timber clinging to a ridge that could punch the sky in the face. 90 acres forest. Brush. Boulders mine. Passed down from a grandfather who'd wrestled this land out from under developers way before I even knew what a boundary was. He left me a rifle, a stack of maps, and one line in his will: let the ridge stay wild. Maybe he knew I'd need it more than I'd ever admit. Building that cabin took 2 years. I walked away from a senior engineering job in Seattle, big paycheck, fancy desk, that gnawing sense I was dying by degrees. Moved up with a box of old coffee mugs, a tangle of regrets, and more questions than answers. Out here, the squirrels didn't give a damn about my LinkedIn, and the sunrises didn't care how good I was at PowerPoint. Mornings by the fire, evenings with elk moving through the trees, nights writing down whatever solitude taught me, selling it to niche blogs that paid just enough to keep coffee in the pot. After a while, every wind in the trees started to sound like my own heartbeat. Every cracked branch, every cold gust across the ridge, reminded Mesm how I was exactly where I was supposed to be. That was before the invasion. At first, just a distant drone jackhammers. Trucks. The slow heartbeat of progress. I figured, let him build their dream so long as the noise stayed down in the valley. But within weeks, a road was carved right at the base of my ridge. Stone walls and black lamps straight out of a country club. Then came the sign, future site of Silver Ridge Mountain Community. You ever get that cold prickle between your shoulder blades? Like someone's about to pick a fight with the wrong guy? Yeah, that. Still, I thought I was safe me place so far up the switchback trail. Google Maps gave up halfway there. Then one morning, I spot a shiny new sign nailed to a pine just yards from my road. Welcome to Silver Ridge HOA Mountain Preserve Zone. Access restricted. Like hell it was. I ripped that sign down, drove into town, slapped it on the county clerk's desk. Joel guy, piped tobacco breath, suspicious of everything, just raised his eyebrow. Muttered, not that I see. You're still the only owner from here to the creek. But if you want, I'll flag it as challenged. I said, not yet. I wanted to see just how bold these folks were feeling. Didn't take long to find out. A few days later, tire tracks deep, fresh, crawling halfway up my drive. Then, right before noon, the whole circus rolled up: quad bikes, utility carts with a shiny HOA logo. Leading the charge was Karen Yep. Actual name Blonde Bob. Sunglasses. Clipboard. Voice polish sharp as glass. Boundary compliance review, she announced. All confidence and artificial smiles. My cabin, apparently, didn't meet community standards. Too rustic. Wrong chimney. Non-conforming flagpole, which was just the American flag my grandfather flew. I told her plain as day I wasn't part of their HOA. She replied, oh so patient, that their environmental stewardship initiative now included the whole mountain, and I'd be getting helpful notices until I came into compliance. I wish I could say I was shocked, but I'd seen this kind of creeping authority before. The next morning, her assistants matching vests, busy with tape measures and cameras, started documenting my infractions. I told them to get lost. Karen handed me a violation envelope. Threatened daily fines. I asked Hurtwissy if they were aware they were trespassing on private land. Property maps evolve, she said. That same syrupy voice. We'd love to bring you into the fold. Lady, this land was mine before your subdivision had indoor plumbing. After they finally left, I called in Ellis, the local surveyor. Crusty old-timer with a drone and a talent for sniffing out BS. He walked the land with me, ran the boundary scan, confirmed I owned every inch. No overlap. I mailed Karen a notarized letter and the survey printout. Warned Harony more trespassing. And we'd do it the hard way. Thought it'd be done. It wasn't. Instead, more envelopes. More signs. HOA Community Oversight Zone this. Report all hazards that. I tore their signs out and put up my own. Private property. Not subject to HOA. Even dropped a chunk of change on a solar-powered gate halfway up my drive remote lock. Keypad. The works. Next day, I spot Karen giving a guided tour of my land to a group of yuppies, selling them a fantasy about Observation Peak. She tried climbing my gate, snagged her cardigan, wound up dangling full scarecrow while half the crowd filmed her meltdown. By sunrise, the internet dubbed her Karen Tula. I'd be lying if I said I didn't laugh. Karma's got a wicked sense of timing. You'd think she'd quit. But that sort of ego doesn't go down easy. The HOA kept up the pressure inspections, complaints, zoning officials, ecology surveys, all of them showing up, poking around, trying to catch me in some violation. Every time, I showed them my permits, my deed, my fireproof cabin. Eventually, some of the inspectors just started swapping recipes with me, even asked for a sourdough starter. I began keeping a folder, HOA nonsense evidence, cameras, logs, the works. But the real twist? An old friend, Trent, now working for Silver Ridge, leaked me a photo of an internal map. The HOA's big plan included a cable car, snack bar, even a zip line, all slated for my land. No one ever asked me. Of course, just pending negotiation with landowner. That's not negotiation. That's a fantasy. So, I lawyered up. Amy Sharp. No nonsense. Allergic to HOA games. She went nuclear. Filed motions. Sent cease and desists. Demanded retractions. Dropped the whole packet to the county, the state, and the press for good measure. Next thing I know, landowner versus HOA gondola greed hits the news. My inbox blew up. Karen called an emergency HOA meeting. Claimed it was all a gross misunderstanding. Too late. The evidence was everywhere. And then, finally, court day. I wish I could tell you it felt dramatic. But honestly, it was cold, both the courtroom and the mood. Karen showed up in pearls and panic, flanked by lawyers. Amy laid out the facts, the deed, the survey, the ridiculous investor pitch with unclaimed land. She even played the viral video of Karen stuck on my gate. By the end, the judge looked about ready to retire on the spot. Amy ended with the only line that mattered. You can't govern what you don't own. You can't control what you don't respect. Judge ruled hard. I won. Karen personally liable for harassment. HOA fined $750,000. My land permanently outside their reach. Karen got probation and was forced off the board. HOA charter rewritten. You should have seen the headlines. The last free man in Colorado. Karen wants a cable car, gets caught in a web. My trail cams have been pretty boring ever since. A couple months later, some folks from the HOA stopped by with pie and coffee peace offering. You know, I let them up. We watched the sun crawl over the valley. Nobody mentioned compliance. County redrew the maps. Hung a new sign at the trailhead, private property boundary. Respect the line. I kept the old one. Hung it above my desk. And that's the thing, people love to talk about justice like it's something handed down from on high, when really, it's usually a matter of standing your ground. I learned the hard way that you can do everything right, have the deed, the law, the history, and still get steamrolled if you let someone else write your story. But sometimes, just sometimes, the stubborn guy with the cabin wins. Because when power meets truth, and truth is backed up by proof, even the loudest HOA has to pack it in. Still, some days I wonder, where's the line? Really? When does protecting community standards turn into stealing someone's life out from under them? When does defending your home make you the villain in someone else's story? I'll let you chew on that. But if you've ever tangled with a power-hungry HOA, or had to fight for what's yours, drop a comment, tell me where you draw the line. Share your story. Because in the end, all we've got is the truth we're willing to stand up for and the courage not to let anyone build a gondola on our outhouse.